junior brothers. Except for like they say it's up to 60, I don't know.
I'm 60 plus.
So you are near my age, but I'm at least 7 years older than you, I'm sure. I'm the same age with your mentor in Lagos, Asiwaju. And I was governor with him at the same time. He was a senator, I was a senator. I'm a two-time minister, he isn't a two-time minister.
But he won all his elections very well.
No problem about that. Just like you won your own in Kogi State very well.
Yes.
And you are now the deputy governor and governor of Kogi State.
Mr. Minister, please respond.
I'm responding, my friend. If you yab me, I yab you 10 times.
I won.
I'm a Lagos boy. I'm a Lagos boy. You are just a small boy in Lagos. Look at this boy. Mushin boy is talking to a VI boy. I live in Victoria Island. Look at Mushi boy. From Kogio. You are Oborobo. Just go. I don't get time for you. Kilo share.
Hello and welcome to another brand new day, and of course it's today in the news on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Chukudi and I have with me my co-host
Damilola Ogunsake.
You're looking all, sparkling.
I have to.
So how are you?
I'm very, very fine.
Alright, let's just move straight to the front pages of the newspaper, and I'll be starting with Vanguard. And main headlines on Vanguard are COVID-19, outrage over security breach at airport. At riders, DSS man slapped aviation security officer at Abuja airport, says fan. Our man didn't slap any airport worker, DSS counters. CSOs condemn harassment of personnel enforcing COVID-19 rules. And Lagos records 180 new infections as confirmed cases rise to 38,344. Also, there's a photo story of Shiite holds protest, and members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, IMN, also known as Shiite, during what they call a one-year remembrance protest in memory of their members who they said died during a protest a year ago in Abuja yesterday. Also, Boko Haram kills 5 aid workers abducted in Borno. You can see that story on page 3, and on page 9, Ondo, Ajayi Olafeso Jegede in tight race for PDP ticket, and on page 5 and also on page 13. COVID-19, Fayemi test positive as Ikpeazu recovers. Kano councils a festivity. And stories on page 6. We have National Assembly resolution on service chiefs. Lawyers split over Buhari's refusal to accept decision. Also on page 6, Senate passes 29-year-old Bofia Amendment Act. And stories above. Khan replies presidency, says the federal government twisting fact on Southern Kaduna crisis. You can see more on that story on page 8. And on page 4, NPO names NIJ house after late Malam Ismaila Isa Fontua. And lastly, on the front page of the Vanguard, we have protests as Senate confirms Debo addition of 38 others. Envoys designate leaves out 2 others. You can see more on that story on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. Moving away from Vanguard, we move straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the front page of the Punch, we have Keyamo will supervise recruitment. Labour Ministry replies National Assembly, and the NDE must report to Minister of State, says Ministry spokesman. 52 billion naira public works fund for NDE, not Ministry, Senate insists, and you can see that on page 2. Now, moving on to other stories above, we have Fayemi test positive, wife commissioners others undergo COVID-19 test, and NDDC probe. National Assembly passes verdict on Akpabio others today, and you can see that on page 16. And on the stories below, on page 17, we have Oyo plans 100 billion naira bond for roads, airports, APC falter, Makinde. Gunmen kidnap 4 Chinese, kill cop in Cross River. Jegede wins Ondo PDP tickets. battles Akeredolu in October poll, and you can see this on page 8. And on pages 4 and 5, we have a Nigerian entrepreneur shot self over rape allegation. United States Police family seeks to false accusations. Hoodlums adults businesswoman man on Ondo Highway. You can see this on page 5. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch, we say Senate to assemble a legal expert on power deals. And you can see this on page 19. From the Punch, we move straight to the Nation.
And on the Nation newspaper, we have Edo 2020. Oshomole's entry into Edo demoralizes PDP members. PDP governor rescued state from huge debt. Obaseki misleading Edo people to get votes, says group, and more on pages 5 and 6. Also, tenants now to pay 6% stamp duty, says FIRS. And the main headlines: Rep demands evidence of $11 billion withdrawal from ECA. Rather, controversial power sector funding returns to the front burner. Also on page 2, we have 217 kidnapped suspect bandits held by police. You can see more on that story on page 2. And on page 5, COVID-19, Fayemi goes into isolation, wife aids for test. Also, Jagade wins Ondo PDP ticket. Deputy governor loses out. You can see that story still on page 5. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation, we have Oyo to issue 10 billion naira bond for road projects. Amago to open defense before panel today. You can see that story on page 5 and 6 of the Nation. And from the Nation, we move straight to this day newspaper.
And on the front page of this day, we have APC prepares for 2023 election, asks members to unite and mobilize, says no riding to victory of Buhari's personnel in next polls. And you can see this on the front page, and it continues on page 10. Buhari departs for Mali in first foreign trip in 5 months. You can see this on page 5. And on page 10, we have a CBN launches new scheme for non-interest financial institution. FEC approves 75 billion naira for 68 million youth to fund business ideas. You can see this on page 6. And lastly, on front page of these days, we have a
who are like my junior brothers, except for like they say it's up to 60, I don't know.
I'm 60 plus.
So you are near my age, but I'm at least 7 years older than you, I'm sure. I'm the same age with your mentor in Lagos, Asiwaju. And I was governor with him at the same time. He was a senator, I was a senator. I'm a two-time minister, he's not a two-time minister.
But he won all his elections very well.
No problem about that. Just like you won your own in Kogi State very well.
Yes.
And you are now the deputy governor and governor of Kogi State.
Mr. Minister, please respond.
I'm responding, my friend. If you yab me, I yab you 10 times.
I won.
I'm a Lagos boy. I'm a Lagos boy. You are just a small boy in Lagos. Look at this boy. Mushim boy.
Alright, welcome back, and if you're just still joining us, it's still Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Chukudi, and I have with me my co-host Alright, this is the newspaper analysis segment, and we're going to be diving straight into the front pages of the papers, and I'll be starting with COVID-19, outrage over security breach at airport, and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAN has accused head of the Department of State Service DSS at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Safiyanu Abba, of stopping an aviation security officer from searching a visitor who set off a metal detector. It will be recalled that aviation authorities had come up with new protocols for air travelers in view of the coronavirus pandemic currently ravaging the world. However, FAN in a tweet yesterday said Abba also slapped the aviation security officer, who has asked the former not to obstruct airport security procedures by preventing a further search of the visitor. And the incident also is the third since the lockdown imposed on the country by the federal government to check the spread of coronavirus was lifted. And it's a very sad one because also, DSS is also saying that none of them, they didn't slap anybody, and they are accusing the DSS of slapping one of them. So it's a very dicey situation. Who are we going to believe in this report? But I hope that they are able to fix this situation because everybody's just trying to ensure that we cut off things that will expose us to having more of COVID. So if there are rules that are meant to be followed,
now that the case is raised into over 38,000.
Yes, so if there are rules that are meant to be followed, just follow the rules and not try to make things complicated for other persons. So you have more stories on COVID-19.
Okay, or still on COVID updates. Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, on Wednesday tested positive to coronavirus. In his tweets and his verified handle, he announced that his third COVID-19 test has returned positive, and he will be going into isolation to commence treatment. This means that the Ekiti State Deputy Governor, that's Otumba BC Ibeyemi, will take over critical duties and roles concerning the running of the state while Fayemi receives treatment. However, the governor has noted that he would continue to do some routine tasks from home while self-isolating. And also talking about Abia State Governor, that's Dr. Ikpazu, following his recovery from COVID-19, is back home and set to resume work. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Mr. Oyebuchi, says that the governor, his wife, his two daughters, and some of his aides worshipped at the Seventh-day Adventist Church for a brief Thanksgiving service. Presided over by the president of East Nigeria Union Conference of the SDA Church. The governor expressed appreciation to God, whose grace and loving kindness kept him throughout the difficult period. Ikpazu assured the people of the state that he is safe and healthy, and set to resume duties after his discharge and is discharged his duties. So that's it. I think it's a good thing. Concerning some, I think it's for like 3 months or so months now, we've had over different governors, who have tested positive to it and they've actually recovered from it. And of course, we know that same thing might also happen to Governor Fayemi, and the governor saying that's Governor of Abia State saying that he's ready and back to resume to work. I'm sure the people of Abia State will be very, very happy. So.
Moving on, we have over 25 burned to death as tanker explodes in Delta. This is a very, very sad one. And no fewer than 25 persons were yesterday burned to death along Benin Sapele Highway by Koko Junction, Etope, West Local Government Area of Delta State, when the tanker laden with petroleum products exploded. An eyewitness, Mr. Friday Akowe, said that the tanker fell about 10:27 a.m. while trying to avoid a bad spot on the road, adding that 4 vehicles were burnt in the process. It did not explode immediately, he said. It was when people were getting close to see if the driver and the occupants were injured that the tanker exploded, burning 25 people or so beyond recognition. He said the Federal Road Safety Commission (FRSC) officials and security agencies were cited about 1:32 p.m. Removing the burnt victims, while some of the injured were taken to Ogara for treatment. And the police are saying that just only about 3 persons died. So there's a lot of different factions of reports coming from here, but it's a very, very sad one. The pictures was so gory. It's something that I don't even pray for anybody to experience. And it's just sad that our roads are not good. And because this one was reported that the trailer was trying to avoid a bad spot, and that's when it happened. So we hope that our government will come to our aid and fix our bad roads, because even the bad roads are causing more deaths than even COVID-19 itself. So we need the government to really
I think we don't need to just focus on the COVID and also insecurities. We also need to look at some other things like on the infrastructures. Okay, now so moving on, let's talk. Khan replies presidency, says federal government twisting fat on Southern Kaduna crisis. So the Christian Association of Nigeria in Kaduna State has accused federal government of twisting facts in the crisis. Its reaction came against the backdrop of claims by the presidency Tuesday that revenge killings was worsening the security problems in the area. Khan chairman, that's Reverend John Joseph, said in a statement yesterday that in the past week there had been reports of killing, especially in the southern parts of Kaduna, with most recent massacre of Kukumdaji and Goragon put at 33 deaths, aside from scores in hospitals recovering treatments as a result of gunshot wounds. So receiving treatment, as a result of gunshot wounds. So he said the interest of Buhari's led federal government, instead of Buhari's led administration, the federal government of Nigeria stepping in to find a lasting situation. It's unfortunate that it has resulted to twisting facts. That he added that in one of his tweets, that the provocative claims credited to the senior special assistant to the president, that the problem in the southern Kaduna is an evil combination of politically motivated banditry, revenge, killings, and mutual violence by criminal gangs acting on ethnic and religious ground. He further added that Shehu Gaba misforms Nigerians and the international community, that Southern Kaduna enjoys comprehensive security development, including an Army Special Force, and Air Force, and also mobile police units that are on ground on a 24-hour basis. He said that the Christian Association of Nigeria in Kaduna State chapter, as a body, found the statement of Shehu Gaba unwarranted and viewed it as a misdirected attempt towards giving a dog bad name to hang it, and says that the Christian Association believes the government needs to apply the principle of justice for all in addressing these and other conflicts deviling the country. So that's what it's saying. I think his response is based on these recent deaths. We've seen it on the front pages of the papers, where I think it was yesterday that we recorded 11 deaths in the crisis, and also one of the local governments in Kaduna, that was on Monday. And though the police were not able to confirm yet, but the state, their local government chairman confirmed the incident and said there is still looking for some people, so their bodies and all that. So it's really saddening that some of these insecurity issues is still going on. But I believe the government will still be able to look into this.
All right, so let's just take some comments on the page, and we have, and this is from Wangu says, says, as a clergyman, I have lost hope on Khan. They failed to emulate Jesus in terms of being fearless to speak the truth. And this one is from let's see, Chukwemeka Valentine says, political insanity, failed can also be called crippled, since that's the current situation in the country. And this is from Abdul saying they are always treating us somehow. And this is from Adeyemi Shektron Isaac says, don't let us vote for old men because they are all Wicked create a youth politics. Well, so let's see this one from Philip Grant. He says politicians are toiling with the life and future of Nigerians. And this is from Festus Ifeanyi. He says the Khan should go and sit down. There's nothing like Khan in Nigeria. What we have are now business tycoons extorting members every Sunday, in fact every day. How do you have that information with you, Ifeanyi?
I think he has a reply there.
Someone is asking him if that's the topic, but then that's how. Please just ensure that you keep your comments clean and let it be objective related to what we're talking about, so that we can take this. Try not to curse or insult anybody. Just be very, very, sensitive to the matters that we're talking about. And moving on, we're talking of National Assembly resolution on service chiefs. And if you've been following up, you know that they've been asking the service chiefs to step down and asking the presidency to also tell the service chiefs to step down. The presidency has replied and said, you don't have a right to tell me what to do, because I know what to do about the service chiefs. But then, lawyers have divided over Buhari's refusal to accept decisions, and some legal practitioners have expressed divergent views over President Muhammadu Buhari's rejection of the resolution by the National Assembly, asking service chiefs to step aside over rising insecurity in the country. While some of the opinions that the president should heed the call of the lawmakers, others are of the opinion that he was not under any obligation to follow their resolution. Some persons are saying that the president is the one who's going to decide what he wants to do about the service chief. Stop influencing his opinion. Stop telling the president what to do. Well, we hope that they are able to come to an agreement on what is the right decisions to do. Let me see if I'll take some other comments. Okay. Nope.
Okay, so
do you have more comments you want to take?
No, I don't have a comment here, but I still have one story, and that of the protest that Senate confirms Debo additional orders ambassador designate. So amid protests yesterday, the Senate confirmed the nomination of 39 career and non-career ambassadors. Ambassadorial nominees submitted to it by President Muhammadu Buhari for screening and confirmation. The 39 cleared and confirmed were out of the 41 names sent to the Senate by the President. The confirmation was sequel to the presentation of the report of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs by its chairman, Senator Muhammadu. Trouble started when Muhammadu was presenting his report on the confirmation of the nominees. The process was almost aborted as some senators tried to stop the list of nominees from their states by stepping down. We have more details of this inside our paper and also our website. Of course, you can always get it.
Alright, so let's just take Mr. and Mrs. And Mr. seems to be talking. Says, you don't have to worry about this relationship. You are married to a pilot, and pilots are playing characters. And Mrs. replied, and why not? They virtually live in plane, like they virtually live in planes. Wow, this is a comeback between both of them. You don't have to be worried. You're married to a pilot, and he says pilots. She says pilots virtually live in planes. Like, what do you think about
they're
that?
flying us to different places and all that. You actually see some people say I can't actually marry a pilot because it's not going to be always around. But me, I just see it as one of their job and what you want to do. Of course,
somebody has to do the job.
You would have to do it. Who is going to fly you to that country you want to go to? And we also have some places who tell you, okay, I want to fly all over the world. I want to go to any country I want to go to. I'm sure that they can be a pilot.
I just remembered when I saw a social media update from Omotola where she said her kids were stuck in the abroad and her husband had to fly down to go bring them back. So like this could be one of the advantages of having a pilot as a husband. Alright, that's all we can take on our front page review as well as our analysis segment. Remember that if you want to find out more of our top stories, you can equally go straight now to our website www.vanguardngr.com to find out more about top stories. And you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. Till we come your way next time, I remain Precious Chukudi, and I have with me my co-host
Damlola.
Thank you for watching, and remember to stay safe and stay clean. It's still COVID-19 times, and we're trying as much as we can to ensure that we don't have coronavirus anymore.